Good morning, y'all. So I wanted to jump up here and give you an update. My boys are playing basketball in the road. Can I just tell you how much I'm just missing my simple life? I have been so busy. Some days I don't even know my name. So I did share, I don't think I shared on Facebook. I did share on, I don't know if I shared on here. I've been having a hard time with my focus. And so I ran into somebody that's taking the same test. So we're studying together. It's even more awesome is like finding somebody close to my age that's a female taking the test. That's kind of nice. And then only to find out we grew up together, but she's 5 years younger. So we only rode the bus in elementary school. Ooh, I got a mosquito. Hold on a second. It's beautiful out this morning, but yes, there's still mosquitoes. So I got 20 hours in with her just Friday and Saturday. So by the end of Saturday, I didn't really know my name. The folks at church were just like, what's wrong with you? Because I'm like walking around. I really loved a nestful. I probably just said that wrong. It probably just shows how ignorant I am with other YouTubers. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna put a link below or in the comments. But she just did a really good burnout video when you want to quit for homeschooling, and I thought that was like a really, really good video. Because it always comes up. I'm not burned out. I'm a little bit like, I'm burned out with busyness, and I do get burned out from busyness. Hold on. Hey! Taking the dog to the basketball court to the basketball hoop isn't really walking the dog. You gotta first walk the dog, and then you can play basketball. So this morning on Facebook, one of my pictures came up was my chicken in the house. I had a chicken in the house 2 years ago. And it really kind of like my heart be still. Because that chicken in the house was gutted and everything was in the dumpster. And it's been 2 years from the house flooding. 2 years this week. And it's a little bit like we've come a long way, and yet we're not to our destination. It's not 40 years in the wilderness, so I mean, I appreciate that. It hasn't been so far. But and we've gotten really used to living in the tiny house. But I will say, with me working, I don't know, when I was sitting having my breakfast, this conversation came out so much easier than I'm having now. But I just will say, like, being so busy, being kind of tunnel vision focused on taking this license exam, everything's kind of falling apart. And I'm just looking at it all going, it's just going to have to fall apart. We pick up the pieces November 1st. It has to fall apart. We pick up the pieces. And just kind of giving myself that grace, like, I can't do it all. And everybody's like, I don't know how you do everything you do. I'm like, I don't know if you really realize how much I don't do. Because I don't do a lot of stuff. So, I'm just studying. I kind of ran into yesterday where, like, my brain quit working. I literally went to bed and watched movies all day. Dang, these mosquitoes are getting me. Watched movies. I didn't watch movies. I just watched a movie or two. Orville, I have not done any schoolwork with him since I left for the conference. So I didn't do any last week. And he came in last night. He's like, I want to do schoolwork. So I'm like, that's a good thing. So I'm like, let's go through our ABCs last night. So he's very much like, I want to read. So I'm really excited about that. So I don't know if that's the good and the beautiful being awesome curriculum, or the ability to adapt good and the beautiful to be very playful. and him getting to see the value of it. Number one. So I need to work on that, but I'm trying not to give it too much attention with the schoolwork because I got to do mine. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. So between now and me taking the exam, they're like doing a petting zoo thing for 4-H. We pick up pigs. They're still finishing building their pig pens. I think they're finally done building it. And now we have to go get the sawdust shavings, the feeder, and those things. We have, the kids have mums to deliver for a fundraiser. We have a pig weigh-in. I have to register them for the fair. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. And then I was planning on making a weekend when I took my exam. But now my babysitter lineup is falling apart. And it doesn't look like my husband's going with me. So I'm going to catch a ride with somebody else. And now it looks like I'll just come home Friday night. Which that's okay. Because then I got to take the girls and their goats to a workshop. And then get their goats registered for a show. And it's just like, it's never ending. It's so busy this month. And we've had to cancel family get-togethers because I'm just like, I can't. So I'm so tired. Not to be like reiterating like how tired I am. You know, How to ADHD came out with like a really phenomenal video. I just watched it yesterday and really hit my heart because she was talking about all the labels and the shaming we get with ADHD growing up. And I will honestly tell you, because of that shaming, I was always labeled a procrastinator and always yelled at for being lazy and always made fun of by family members as a kid. And then going into the school, I didn't want anybody to know I was dumb. You know, and obviously I'm not dumb. But I didn't want anybody to know. And so I didn't seek help. And I would just waste so much time staring, like wanting osmosis to happen in my work. And then the last 5 minutes throwing something together. And I'm like, it would have been so much better if, you know, it would have been whatever. But it wasn't. So I say that because I've started to get very frustrated with my son as he's demonstrating some of the same habits. And it makes me, and what I've come to realize, like, some of mine was just timing and maturity. I'm killing another mosquito. Timing and maturity for me to really be able to buckle down. So Bubba's definitely having some issues with the classical conversation and the intent. Just, I'm gonna not lie. The intensity of ADHD, the intensity of classical conversations challenge A, being more ADD than ADHD, is very, I don't want to say a turn off, but it does turn something off in the brain that makes it like overwhelming. And he's definitely fighting with that overwhelming part. You know, the Henley Latin isn't that great for that. I'm actually thinking about taking him completely out of Henley Latin and just having him do Latin with Andy. And that's it. And call it a day and tailor that for him. I think I need to be doing the writing with him. And just kind of carrying him along. Because that's what he needs. So it's definitely been a little bit like frustrating. And then it's like on top of what I'm doing to help him with that, which is what I need to be doing. But, you know, it's just one of those, ugh. So I'm counting down the days. The weather is changing. I want a garden started. And I can't do anything until this test is done. And to be honest, I just kind of like cannot wait to be just a mom again. Being this busy and this like spread out to so many places with so many kids, it makes me really appreciate being able to do one job, and the job I love, and that's being a mom. And yeah, I mean, and Katie's birthday's next week. Oh my goodness, Katie's birthday is next week. She's gonna be 14 years old, and having like that quiet time talk with her, I got to have one yesterday of just like, in 2 years you're driving, and 4, the, you know, state of Florida, United States calls you an adult. Are you ready for that kind of deal? Very, very just like, ooh. Ooh. I'm hoping, I don't know if it's just, I have to say one of the things I'm really thankful for, like for CC, is amazing moms. So one of the blessings I do have is I have an amazing mom that is taking on a couple of my strands for Challenge A. So she's like, until your test, until you, I'm like, can you do that until the week after my test? Since, you know, I'm like, for now, just do that for the week after my test. And she's like, yeah, no problem. So she's covering some of my strands, which will make my life easier. So like going in tomorrow, I only have to be prepared for 3, not 6, which is huge. So thankful for her. And then, and I'm trying not, one of the things I'll do, especially as a procrastinator, ADHD, is I will find like one little nugget, and I just thought of it now, and I'm like, I could just go and spend all day doing that, because I'd rather do that than deal with the things I need to deal with. And that would be like to type up and change out the Challenge A guide for Bubba and make it more like, hey, this is what you need to get done. But I need to be careful of that. I don't need to be doing that at all. So, it's hard, and the house is a mess because I'm not dealing with it. So we're tripping over stuff. And as much as I've learned to live in my little house, you can only live in it like that if the house is picked up, and the house is not picked up. So it's a hot mess in there, and it becomes very easily frustrating to just move in that house. So I keep finding myself wanting to sit and do nothing, and that's something I fight a lot. But we're in the midst. We're getting our house plans finalized to build a house, and I kind of thought he would have been started by now, but apparently drawing things from scratch can take quite a bit, and then you're in like the rotation waiting for the architect to work on your stuff. So we're working on that. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm so sorry. I'm just a little bit like having coffee, chitter chat. Probably want to watch that on double speed, but you're my best friend. Anyway, got my pumpkins. Aren't those the coolest? We got those from a farmer. He didn't grow them. They got trucked down. Anyway, so we got one cooked for pumpkin pie. So baked that sucker and drained it and drained it and drained it. It's amazing how much water sits in them. And then, yeah, so these were sitting out here. I think I had a squirrel nibble on them. So we're not eating those now. Alrighty. Until next time, hopefully I will be able to jump on here before the exam again. Yeah. Got any questions? Right? Any questions for me?